Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's the day after the FOMC. Yesterday we had a 0.25% rate cut. No surprises there. The speech of Powell afterwards was somewhat bearish, but actually there were no crazy surprises, and we also didn't see a whole lot of volatility on the markets. And with that being said, we right away are looking forward to a new event, and that is happening tomorrow. It's called triple witching. What is he saying? Indeed, triple witching, and that is a event that happens only a few times a year. It's the third Friday of March, June, and September. That's the month that we're in now, and then December. And what does it mean? It's the expiration of stock options, stock index futures, and stock index options, and they all expire at the same time. And well, what does that exactly mean? Well, it increases activity, and you have all of these expirations all at the same time, which then has a high volatility. So usually that gives some funky price action on the standard markets, and therefore you also see that sometimes rolling over into Bitcoin and Ethereum, especially the majors. So tomorrow is most likely going to be a little bit of a crazy volatile day. You will see a lot of orders being put on the book, being taken off. That's called spoofing. It is officially illegal, but it will happen tomorrow. A lot of traders will close their positions, so I expect some wonky price action. So please be careful for that. And with that being said, I am slowly but surely leaning slightly more neutral towards bearish. So neutral to bearish is my current stand on the price action when we're looking at BTC and the alts, but also the general stock market. Where I was bullish here, and I said we're going higher, I eventually took profit yesterday here, and right now with the current price action and having another look at the market, I am really moving towards neutral slash bearish. And the reason is because we also now first hit our first short trade, that is this one right here. So far I am not in the trade yet. I want to see what New York is doing once it opens. But this is the first trade, and it's actually just a simple SFP of this first level. And then above us we have the golden pocket and the point of control of this area, and we have the weekend high, so that is this trade. So if we would pump up during New York and doing something like this, this is still a short for me. Or if we take out this high, this would still be a short for me, and I will see it as this short trade right here. If we just keep on pumping, yippee-ki-yay, I will get somewhere locally in a long, but for now I'm standing on the sidelines. I also closed a lot of positions yesterday. I took profit just in case the FOMC would be very bearish. I want to lock in those profits. Okay. With that being said, why do I have a bit of a neutral stand? Regarding BTC, this whole move up left a lot of terrible lows. I already talked about this multiple times. Here all the way at the bottom, that was an ever so slightly lower price. That was an SFP of 0.1%. We left a shit ton of liquidity here. We left weekend lows untouched, Monday lows untouched. Yeah, that was just also on the TPO chart. It just looked absolutely terrible. So I think once we're getting this move down, it can go very fast. Plus, this whole move up mostly is triggered by perpetual contracts and not actual spot buying, and that makes it a little bit more funky and a little bit more volatile if we eventually getting that sell-off to the downside, because then you would see a lot of overexposed traders with their pants down, and then we can get a pretty big move down. For now, the level to hold in case we're getting retracement is still this 113,480. That is still the level to hold, but I think actually if we're coming down now, that we will just smash through, and then we're going to revisit these 108 and eventually maybe 105, 104. So be careful with that. Something else than the perpetual and spot contracts and the triple witching that is concerning me is also the S&P 500. We looked at this yesterday, and we are right now trading at 6,700 points, an absolute all-time high. However, if I'm looking here at Mark Cipher B, you can see here on the daily, it looks like we are getting somewhat of topping signs, and it would be nice if we're getting a little bit of a retracement. If I'm now looking at what the S&P 500 has done for the entire year, we are up 12.47%, so let's say 12.5%. that is slightly above the multi-year average. The multi-year average is at and around 10%. Is 12% then so overextended? No, not at all. However, the thing that triggers me actually for this current price, is that actually once we had the whole shebang about the tariffs and then we moved higher, that was this low to absolutely this high. It is 33%, almost 34% on the stock markets in less than 6 months, and we do not have any significant retracement over that entire period of time. It was just a slow grind higher, 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 higher. Here you can see you have then 2 days, this is almost 2.5–3%, but actually over time in the last almost 6 months there has not been any good retracement. So I think we are pretty much overextended. We are due for a little bit of retracement. I'm not calling for market crash, but something like a 3, 4, 5, 6% retracement over the course of 2–3 days actually would be nice. Then eventually settle out and then to go higher again. Take the liquidity maybe underneath these lows. That actually would be very nice. So all in all, also here I have a somewhat of a little bit of concern, a little bit of a soft approach where I'm thinking I'm not all too aggressive right now on the stock market. Also, if I'm looking, by the way, on the stock market and just taking a few random stocks, you would see that most of them actually are trading at and around their all-time highs. If I'm, for example, now looking here at Nvidia, $170, look at this. Also the pre-market, now we're up, so we're trading right now, I hope you can see it here. This is the pre-market, so we're pretty close to the all-time high. If I'm then looking at Meta, I think we're also pretty close. Yeah, look at that. All-time highs currently also on Meta. Let me look. I think Apple, pretty much the same story here. Look at this. We're trading right now $240. All-time high was $260. Let me look at Netflix. Already $1,228 currently. Also very close to that all-time high of $1,350. So yeah, most stocks are just trading at their all-time high, and I think therefore we are due a little bit for a retracement, a little bit for a break. Not saying that has to happen today, but I cannot be extremely bullish when everything is so overextended and everything is trading at their all-time high. And we also do not have any very strong triggers in the future that could push us higher, because the FOMC is done. We're having a triple witching next Friday, so that will be tomorrow. And other than that, we don't have really key data coming out anymore in the next week or so. So therefore I'm thinking I'm staying a little bit cautious. Quickly back to BTC then, because that is of course why you're tuning in, and then we will also quickly look at ETH. BTC, like I said, that key level needs to hold for now. Let's give it some time. And of course I am still looking at one of the short trades. I would love to get into a short TP early and then just let the rest ride. Matter of fact, let me quickly go over here to the 4 hour. That's a little bit more clear. Of course, that would be ideal. So take somewhere a short, take a TP1 and then just let it ride. Stop loss to entry, and whatever happens, happens. If I'm wrong and we're going higher, that's also fine. I will get into a short somewhere, but you have to imagine that also the reason for being a bit more bearish is that this entire move up is a bit more than 8%, and it took us almost 20 days. And in very volatile times, sometimes we can have that in a matter of 2–3 days. So this grinding structure and the fact that it took so long is making me believe that eventually, once we're getting somewhat of a downward move, that it can go pretty fast, pretty ferocious. And I will get into a trade somewhere here very locally on the previous day EQ, previous day low, backtest of previous day high, whatever it then might be. If I do get into another long trade, I will update everyone in Discord. So if you want to join that, make sure to click on the link in the description. It is completely for free, so make sure that you check that out. Link for the Discord completely for free in the description. Okay, then quickly let's look at ETH. This has been a little bit all over the place. This price action right here, quite ugly. We also have seen quite a big of a move down, but for now that level here at 4,482 with that high volume node, really see that as an area, as a box, is really still the area to hold. Now on the Asia session we are seeing a little bit of a move up. We are right now again at the value area high. Matter of fact, let me extend this. Should have prepared this maybe a little bit better. and there you can see that we're also on the top of the range. Would we break out of this range, then actually I only have one target, and that is a new all-time high. So if we're doing something like this, I am aiming for a new all-time high, because we only then have this high and this high above us. This was the true all-time high, and this yellow line that you see here is actually the all-time high, but I like to keep it in because sometimes it still offers support and resistance. So again, if we would now reclaim value area high right here at 4,620, do it on the Euro Open, give me another push up, and I think that a new all-time high is pretty much imminent, because then we only have two highs above and they're pretty weak. So I think we can push through easily within 24 to 48 hours. Would that happen? And I also explained this scenario already many times in the Discord, so again, feel free to check that out. I am looking for a deviation of the high, so eventually I think the price can stay there for a little bit. This is kind of the structure that I'm looking for. The price stays above, we are making a new all-time high, everyone gets super bullish, some of the alts are pumping, and then eventually we're getting the reversal, and that reversal will also go pretty fast. But of course the condition is we first need to make a new all-time high, and then I'm seeing somewhat of a deviation, somewhat of some fake price action above that level, get everyone super bullish, waiting for the next leg up, and then we are getting a massive dump to the downside where we can generate a lot of liquidity here above that new all-time high. Again, first need to reclaim value high, then a new all-time high, and then I'm definitely looking out for something like this. Would we reject here? Again, that box is still the absolute master key level. Lose that and we're going to take out all of the lows, and I think we're in for a pretty big massacre. So please stay cautious, don't jump into massive positions. This is not the time to be a hero or to double your portfolio. We are having some crazy wonky price action ahead of us. And if you know that, then just size down on your position size and just only take those high conviction trades until we have more clarity of the market. With that being said, guys, we're at the end of the video, so please do me a favor, like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment and share this video with your friends if you think that's useful. See you guys very soon again in the next one. Bye bye.